Let's be honest for a second. We've all had that one job. You know the one. The job we were spectacularly bad at. The one we still tell stories about, or maybe, just maybe, the one we got fired from. It's that cringy but funny chapter we look back on, grateful we moved on. Now, imagine you're one of the most recognizable faces on television, a comedy legend, and a mainstay of daytime TV for decades. Then, imagine being asked to go back and publicly relive that exact job. For the iconic, outspoken, and unapologetically hilarious Joy Behar, this isn't a hypothetical, it's exactly what happened. In a segment that feels like a full-circle fever dream, Joy returned to her very first gig at ABC to celebrate Good Morning America's 50th anniversary. Long before she was trading barbs on The View, Joy Behar was a receptionist, and not just any receptionist. As it turns out, she was a terrible one. On Friday's episode of The View, audiences got a front-row seat as Joy, 83, took a trip down memory lane, stepping back into a role she held from 1979 to 1982. And the best part? She was famously fired from it. This wasn't just a nostalgic visit, it was a victory lap. I had none of those qualities. Walking viewers through her less-than-stellar career beginnings, Joy set the scene with her signature brutal honesty. I think what makes a good receptionist is if you're polite, if you have a malicious voice. You should be tactful, efficient, pleasant to be around, she explained, setting up the punchline we all knew was coming. I had none of those qualities. And just like that, we were hooked. That didn't stop me from taking the job being a receptionist in 1979, she added with a shrug. But this isn't just Joy's self-deprecating humor. Oh no, her former colleagues showed up with the receipts. The stories from her brief, chaotic tenure paint a picture of an employee who was, to put it kindly, destined for other things. According to Joy, the phones were pure chaos. People called me with all sorts of questions that I couldn't answer, she recalled. The calls would range from, "Can I have the recipe to Julia Child's souffle?" to "Where is Joan London?" Her answer to that last question is what cemented her legacy. The lactating incident. Former GMA anchor, the legendary Joan London, remembered Joy's time at the desk just as vividly, and perhaps a little traumatically. One day my assistant came in to me and said to me, "Joan, I just heard her answer your line." London recalled, already laughing at the memory. The person on the other end of the phone had asked for her, and Joy, in a moment of pure, unfiltered honesty, delivered a line for the ages. She said to who knows who was on the phone, "Yeah, Joan London is around here somewhere, lactating." London, who was breastfeeding at the time, was floored. "I thought it was pretty funny," she admitted. "It's the kind of HR unapproved candor that would make a modern office manager faint, but for Joy, it was just another Tuesday." ABC News senior executive producer David Sloan had his own memories of Joy's unique approach to the job. Joy would answer the phone, she would give you the message. There would be 6 digits on it, he remembered. I said, "Joy, phone numbers have 7 digits. No apology," she would say, "Whatevs." Can you imagine? The nonchalant whatevs from the future superstar. It's pure gold. Slated for bigger and better things. Joy, of course, has the perfect spin on her inevitable firing. "You know, as far as I was concerned, they were lucky to have me there," she quipped. "They knew that I was slated for bigger and better things, so they didn't want to hold me back. That's the spin." And as David Sloan laughingly added, "We finally let her go. She took all the office supplies with her." This, right here, is why we love her. It's the audacity. It's the confidence. It's the story of everyone who ever felt they were in the wrong place, dreaming of something bigger. Joy just happened to be right. Back in the hot seat and ready to steal again. So, for the 50th anniversary celebration, GMA asked the impossible, would Joy Behar take up her old post one more time? "I'm going back to GMA to be a receptionist for the day because who doesn't like a side hustle?" She deadpanned, immediately demanding, "By the way, am I getting paid for this?" Back behind the desk, it was clear that 43 years had done nothing to improve her secretarial skills. It was magical. She quickly settled in, not with work, but with a crossword puzzle. When a caller asked for Rocco DiSpirito's frittata recipe, Joy didn't miss a beat. "No, I'm sorry, I don't. Look online, you'll find it," she replied, promptly hanging up and returning to her puzzle. We've all felt it. Joy just did it. The chaos only escalated from there. GMA Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z stopped by with a simple request: "Could you do me a solid and type these notes up for our weather meeting?" Joy's reaction was one of pure offense. "Type?" she shot back. "I don't really do that. I'm not a very good typist." When Z insisted it was easy stuff, Joy had the perfect solution. "I'll give it to an intern," she declared, immediately handing the work off to GMA's weekend co-anchor Gio Benitez, who just happened to be walking by. But the highlight had to be her encounter with Will Reeve. He innocently asked if she could order him some lunch. "As much as I would like to help you, I cannot leave my desk," she informed him, the phone ringing beside her. "These calls keep coming in, so what I suggest is you go to the refrigerator over there. In the refrigerator is a sandwich called George Stephanopoulos. Eat that." A visibly nervous Reeve stammered, "I hope he doesn't mind. I'll tell him that Joy told me to." It was a masterclass in delegating, avoiding work, and creating pure comedy. The perfect exit. Finally, after enough ringing phones, Joy Behar did what she's been waiting 43 years to do. She quit, on her own terms. "No, that's it," she announced to the room. "I'm getting out of here. I'm not answering it." But she couldn't leave empty-handed. In a brilliant callback to David Sloan's story, Joy pulled out a massive tote bag and began sweeping the entire contents of the desk into it. Staplers, tape dispensers, pens, nothing was safe. "I have a home office I'm setting up now, and I could use some of these supplies," she explained as a startled assistant tried to intervene. "They don't need this. And what's the big deal? Look at this good stuff." As the other receptionist hopelessly reached for yet another ringing phone, Joy offered one last pearl of wisdom: "If you don't answer it, they stop calling." For her grand finale, she ripped a tiny, tinsel Christmas tree from the desk. "This I could use also," she said. "It's been a pleasure, goodbye." As she marched triumphantly out the door, her stunned coworker yelled after her, "It's not even 2 o'clock yet." It was, in a word, perfect. It was more than just a funny skit. It was a hilarious, heartwarming reminder that failure is almost never the end of the story. It's often just the messy, chaotic, and deeply funny beginning.